There is a task on your to-do list right now. It might be buried under easier, more urgent things. But it's there. It is the most important thing on the list. It is that difficult conversation you know you need to have, that creative project that demands your vulnerability, that act of forgiveness you keep postponing, that step toward a healthier life you keep putting off until tomorrow. It is your own personal Nineveh, a place of daunting but necessary responsibility. And then there is Tarshish. Tarshish is not on your to-do list. Tarshish is your comfort, your escape. It is the endless scroll through social media. The next episode in the series, you're binge-watching. The busy work you create to feel productive while avoiding what truly matters. Every day, in 1,000 small ways, we stand at a crossroads. And we choose. Will we turn toward the uncomfortable responsibility of Nineveh? Or will we buy a ticket for the comfortable escape of Tarshish? This internal conflict, this fundamental human dance of avoidance and resistance, has never been captured more brilliantly, more ironically, or more psychologically astutely than in the ancient story of Jonah. It is often presented as a charming children's tale about a man and a big fish. This is a profound misreading. The book of Jonah is a sophisticated and deeply subversive satire. It is a story about a man who runs from his calling and the chaos he unleashes in the world and within himself as a consequence. And it holds up a devastatingly clear mirror to our own age of distraction and avoidance. The story opens with a simple, direct, and unambiguous command from God to his prophet Jonah. Go to the great city of Nineveh and preach against it, because its wickedness has come up before me. To understand the shocking weight of this command, we must understand what Nineveh represented to an Israelite prophet. Nineveh was the capital of the Assyrian Empire. And Assyria was not just a rival nation. They were the embodiment of brutal, terrifying imperial power. Their military campaigns were legendary for their cruelty. For Jonah, Nineveh was the heart of the darkness. It was the enemy. The command to go and preach to them would have been, on some level, repulsive. But the story gets deeper. The text says, "But Jonah ran away from the Lord and headed for Tarshish." Where was Tarshish? In the geography of the ancient world, Tarshish, likely located in modern-day Spain, was the furthest possible point to the west. It was the opposite end of the known world. Nineveh was to the east. Tarshish was to the west. This is not simple disobedience. This is not dragging his feet. This is a deliberate, calculated, and extreme act of avoidance. Jonah is not just saying no. He is saying, I am going to get as far away from your will as is humanly possible. And this raises the central psychological question of the book. Why? Why would a prophet of God so violently reject his mission? The simple answer might be fear. Fear of a dangerous, hostile city. But the end of the story will reveal a much deeper, more complex, and more challenging motivation. For now, let's see Jonah as an archetype of our own resistance. We avoid our Nineveh for many reasons. We are afraid of failure. We are afraid of the conflict it will create. We are afraid of the vulnerability it will require. And so, like Jonah, we book passage on a ship to Tarshish. We numb ourselves with distraction. We lose ourselves in trivialities. we run in the opposite direction of our own growth. Jonah finds a ship, pays the fare, and goes aboard. The text adds a small, poignant detail. He went down into the hold to lie down. He is physically descending, moving into the darkness, into the belly of the ship, trying to sleep, trying to escape from his own consciousness. But the story teaches us a fundamental psychological truth. When you run from your inner world, your outer world erupts in chaos. Then the Lord sent a great wind on the sea, and such a violent storm arose that the ship threatened to break up. The storm is the external manifestation of Jonah's internal turmoil. His refusal to align himself with his purpose has created a vortex of chaos that now threatens to destroy everyone around him. This is a profound insight. Our personal avoidance is never just personal. Our refusal to have the difficult conversation poisons the family dynamic. Our procrastination on the important project creates stress for our entire team. Our flight from our own potential leaves a void in the world that we were meant to fill. The pagan sailors in this story are models of pragmatic, decent humanity. They pray to their gods. They throw cargo overboard to lighten the ship. They do everything they can to save themselves. And where is the prophet of God? Asleep. In the belly of the ship, in the heart of the chaos he created. He is in a state of deep denial. The captain has to come and wake him up. How can you sleep? Get up and call on your God. The sailors cast lots to find who is responsible for the calamity, and the lot falls on Jonah. They confront him. Who are you? Where do you come from? What is your occupation? Who are your people? And for the first time, Jonah is forced to speak his identity out loud. I am a Hebrew, he says, and I worship the Lord, the God of heaven, who made the sea and the dry land. The irony is crushing. He has just declared his allegiance to the very God who is master of the sea that is about to kill them all, the God he is actively running from. The sailors are terrified. They know. What have you done? They ask. It is the question every soul in avoidance must eventually face. Jonah, to his credit, finally takes a sliver of responsibility. He understands that this storm is his. Pick me up and throw me into the sea, he tells them, and it will become calm. I know that it is my fault that this great storm has come upon you. Even here, there is a hint of suicidal despair, a desire for the problem to just be over. But the sailors, in their decency, refuse. They try to row to shore, but they can't. Finally, they pray, not to their gods, but to Jonah's God, asking for mercy, and they throw him overboard. And the sea grows calm. This should be the end of the story. The problem is solved. The runaway prophet is gone. But God's purpose for Jonah is not finished. Now the Lord provided a great fish to swallow Jonah, and Jonah was inside the fish for 3 days and 3 nights. This is not a punishment. It is a severe mercy. It is a divine intervention. The belly of the great fish is a forced pause. It is the ultimate sensory deprivation tank. In the absolute darkness, in the belly of his own resistance, Jonah can no longer run. He can no longer sleep. He can no longer distract himself. He can only do one thing: confront himself, and confront God. It is the rock-bottom moment that so often precedes true transformation. It is the dark night of the soul, made literal and visceral. From inside the fish, Jonah prays. His prayer, which makes up the second chapter of the book, is a beautiful and eloquent piece of poetry. He cries out from the depths, from Sheol itself, and acknowledges God's power and his own desperation. In my distress, I called to the Lord, and he answered me. He ends with a vow. What I have vowed, I will make good. I will say, salvation comes from the Lord. It sounds like a profound repentance. And on one level, it is. He has stopped running. He has acknowledged his need for God. And God hears him. The Lord commands the fish, and it vomits Jonah onto dry land. If this idea of rock bottom being a place of severe mercy, a necessary stop on the journey back to oneself, resonates with you, acknowledge it with a like. So the journey seems complete. The prophet has been humbled and restored, and the word of the Lord comes to Jonah a second time. It is the exact same command as the first. Go to the great city of Nineveh and proclaim to it the message I give you. There is no "I told you so," no lecture, just a simple, gracious second chance. And this time, Jonah obeyed the word of the Lord and went to Nineveh. He walks into the city, a journey of 3 days, and he delivers what is possibly the most minimalist, unenthusiastic, and passive-aggressive sermon in all of history. He says, 40 more days and Nineveh will be overthrown. That's it. There is no call to repentance. There is no offer of mercy. There is no mention of God's love. It is the bare minimum. It is the sermon of a man who is obeying with his feet, but not with his heart. He is doing the job, but he secretly hopes it will fail. And then, to Jonah's absolute horror, the unthinkable happens. The people of Nineveh believe him. A wave of repentance sweeps through the brutal, wicked city. From the least to the greatest, they put on sackcloth and ashes. The king himself comes down from his throne, takes off his royal robes, covers himself with sackcloth, and sits in the dust. He issues a decree calling for a national fast, for man and beast to cry out to God and turn from their evil ways. It is the greatest revival in the entire Old Testament. And it happens in response to the world's worst sermon. And when God sees their repentance, he has compassion, and he does not bring about the destruction he had threatened. And Jonah's reaction to this astonishing wave of mercy and grace. The text says, "But to Jonah this seemed very wrong, and he became very angry." He is not just disappointed, he is enraged. And now finally, in his angry prayer to God, the true reason for his flight to Tarshish is revealed. It was never about fear of failure. It was about his absolute certainty of God's success. He says, "Isn't this what I said, Lord, when I was still at home? That is what I tried to forestall by fleeing to Tarshish. I knew that you are a gracious and compassionate God, slow to anger and abounding in love, a God who relents from sending calamity." This is one of the most shocking and psychologically brilliant moments in the Bible.